Hi, it's been a bit of a break, but I was on holiday. But I was on a Zoom last night, which was TM6 Basics, and had a couple of customers on there, and they had a couple of questions. So I thought I would address them with a couple of videos, lots of couples in there. Anyway, the first question was, how do you use the TM6 manually? So the people that were on last night were all people who've actually upgraded to the TM6. So let's have a look. TM6 is fantastic for its guided cooking and for all the modes and things that are in here. However, if you have had a Thermomix before, or if you want to cook something that is, I've got some books which are not on Cookie Do, so I would have to cook them manually. So this is how you use things manually. And anyone from who's had a TM31 in the past will know that all they could do was cook manually. So let's just have a quick look at the screen here. So we've got time, temperature, and speed. Whichever one of these dials is large is turned up with this one. So we can turn our time up there, temperature, everything. You see there's a massive range of temperature here if you have a look through there. So some of these low ones are great for melting chocolate. I use them to warm up a juice. And then as you go around, there's all sorts of different reasons why you would use these different temperatures. Once it gets to 95 degrees, when you're using your TM6, you need to replace the measuring cup with, with the simmering basket. All right. Now, the reason for that, it's just a safety thing, but the reason is when you have a look at your, great thing about this is it stays in place, all right? It doesn't fall out like previous measuring cups, but it does have little, there are little gaps. It's hard to see the light through here like this, but it is not a full thing. So there's no pressure in there at all. However, just in case something you were cooking, I mean, the example I can think of is milk, but doesn't actually have anything in it. But if you were cooking something that had bits in it and it rose up the bowl, as milk does when it gets hot, the concern is that maybe something might block the holes here. Now, I think it's highly unlikely. I think they're just being super duper safe. And so what you do is you put this on top instead. Now, I have seen some people put the splash guard on top. Now, the splash guard is also locked in place, so it actually is not going to help. If there was something pushing up, it might be able to push this up, or it's easy for you to take that off and stop it, or push the silver button and stop it, okay? If it's something that's locked in place, you can't do that. So please remember, when it gets to 95 degrees or above, you use this. All right, keeping looking back to the screen. You can keep turning up all the way up. Everything up to 120 degrees is on a thermostat. So it's exactly like you're heating or you're cooling. It goes up and it comes off, goes up and clicks off. If you were steaming in here and you're doing it manually, it needs to be on varoma temperature. Now, varoma temperature is a rolling boil. It's still 120 degrees, but it doesn't click off. So it will keep generating, the heat will keep generating steam. So that's with the temperature. When you are cooking manually, you need to make sure that if you are cooking, exactly, cooking, not chopping, you need to make sure that the time is set. So start from the left, do your time. So you might cook something for 5 minutes. Then you set your temperature and then you set your speed. If I turn this up and I haven't got time on there, it will not start. It will say that there's an error, which again is another safety feature. So yeah, so if you could heat without a time limit, it would just keep heating and heating and heating, and it would be disastrous. So you need to set the time first, then the temperature, and then the speed. And if you had a previous model Thermomix, that's exactly what you would have done on there too. So it's exactly the same here. Once I've set my time and my temperature, or even if I'm just chopping, then I use this, the dial, my speed dial. Okay, so I could turn my speed up. Let's just get up here so you can see. To say speed 1 would be a good heating thing. All right, just going to push that to stop it, because obviously I've got nothing in my bowl. The other thing you need to know is reverse. And if you have a look on here, we've got a little symbol here, a blade symbol. Touch that, it goes into reverse. So if you're a TM31 owner, you've got your time, you've got your temperature, you've got your speed, you've got your chopping or your reverse. And then when you swipe here, you've got your scales in there. Okay. You've got dough mode, which is exactly what you had for kneading. Just set your time. It's usually 2 minutes if you're kneading bread, and turn that, and that will start dough mode. And you've got turbo. All right, now with all these modes, let's just go back into that one. There is a little eye towards the top right-hand side of the screen. If I click on there, it tells you about the mode. Oh, it's gone too far. All right, but let's go back to the home screen. So if you are cooking, you want to cook manually on your TM6, and you're used to cooking manually before, and you've got recipes that you want to use. If they are recipe community recipes, you can import them into CookieDo, and you will be able to ask me if you need more help on that. I've got YouTube videos on that already, but you can do that. If they are from a separate book, I've got something here, and I'm not going to show you what it is because it's somebody else's recipe, but I have purchased this, and I can cook this manually using this. Okay, so I hope that really answers the question about how you cook manually with your TM6.